Hi guys, welcome to Exploration Wednesday, and today we are going to do some 4th of July celebration cannons. So I know Saturday we have 4th of July coming up, which is always a fun holiday where we celebrate the birth of the nation, and it actually has some really fun tie-ins with the Lewis and Clark expedition. So to show you what we're going to make today, we are going to make some keelboat cannons, and that we're going to fire off some pom-poms. So these little fuzzy pom-poms are our fireworks. I will show you how to make them, and they're really cool. You just load the keelboat cannon, and then all you do, you fire, and you have your own keelboat cannon to celebrate the 4th of July. Now, the 4th of July, we have to go back over 200 years to the American Revolution. And that is way back when we used to be the 13 colonies, the British colonies. So that was basically Britain had colonized along the eastern coast of what will be the United States. And in 1775, the colonies were kind of fed up with the British. They wanted, and they eventually decided that they wanted to declare their independence from Britain. And they actually went to war, there was fighting, and in 1776, the Second Continental Congress decided to vote and declare their independence from Great Britain. And that's where you get the Declaration of Independence, which, if you don't know, was written by Thomas Jefferson, which is our first tie-in with Lewis and Clark. Thomas Jefferson became the 3rd president of the United States, and he is the one who kind of led the start of the expedition. It was kind of his idea to ask Congress for funding for an expedition to be led by Lewis and Clark to travel up the Missouri River and to the ocean. So way back before he became president, Congress asked him to write a letter. It was basically a breakup letter with Great Britain telling them, this is why we're breaking up with you, and we are establishing our own government. And they chose Jefferson because they just had all agreed that he was the best writer, and he wrote a lot in his lifetime. And eventually, after the war, he became the 3rd president. He recruited Captain Lewis to help him plan an expedition, and then Lewis actually set off sail in 1804 up the river. He brought Captain Clark with him and all their soldiers. And that was only 28 years after the Declaration of Independence. So shortly after Lewis and Clark were actually born, Lewis was just 1 year old, Clark was 6 years old when the Declaration was written. So there's a little bit of an age gap between Jefferson and the captains, but Lewis and Clark, they were just little babies when the Declaration of Independence was written. And then another tie-in from the Declaration, from that Independence Day, is that another signer of the document, so all these individuals signed the Declaration telling Britain, we're breaking up with you. One of the people who signed the Declaration, his name was Benjamin Rush, and he was a doctor at that time. And eventually, 28 years later, for the expedition, Jefferson sends Lewis to go to Benjamin Rush. He lived in Philadelphia, and to take some training, to take a few classes about the medical knowledge of that time. Benjamin Rush was a doctor, so Lewis went to him to learn some medical advice. What should I do on the trail when my men are sick? 200 years ago, medicine wasn't very great at the time, so some advice from Benjamin Rush was, if you're feeling sick, maybe you should, sweat out the illness. Maybe you should take some purgatives, which are something that can either help you throw up, or he would give you some laxatives, which would help you go to the bathroom. His other advice was, if it's wet outside, just wear flannel. That'll keep you nice and warm. But he did have some pretty good advice. He also told the captain, make sure your men are resting after a long day of work. Make sure they're staying clean. Cleanliness is very important on the trail. Wash up often. But some of his other knowledge, not so great. He had these little pills that were called thunderclappers that would purge you of your illness, and inside the pills was laxatives and mercury. And today we know mercury is a poison that you should not eat. 200 years ago, they used it as medicine, so Wasn't always good knowledge or good advice for the captains, but they didn't know at the time, and they were improving every day their medical knowledge. So Thomas Jefferson, the primary author of the Declaration, was the one that kind of started the whole expedition. Another signer, Benjamin Rush, was actually the medical advice to Captain Lewis. And so all these little tie-ins with the expedition. And of course, it was only 28 years after the Declaration, after Independence Day, so it was still, a very popular holiday at that time. So the expedition, Captains Lewis and Clark and their men, definitely wanted to celebrate that birth of that nation when we had separated from Britain. And one way they did that was to fire their cannon that they had on their keelboat. I have a little keelboat model right here. So at the bow of the keelboat, the very front, they had this swivel cannon. And it was, 18 to 36 inches long, and it would fire off and make this loud booming noise. They had the cannon, they used it for protection, and they also used it for celebration. So it's really fun to fire off. So to make your own cannon, all you need is you're gonna grab some paper cups. You can grab some tape, you'll need some balloon, scissors, some fun pom-poms, and some markers, stickers, glitter, whatever you want to use to decorate. So grab your paper cup, or you could use, a toilet paper tube, whatever, kind of a circular shape. And at the very bottom of your cup, you're gonna carefully, you might ask mom or dad to help you, you're gonna poke your scissors through the bottom, fairly carefully. There we go. And then all I did is made a little X in the bottom of the cup with my scissors. There we go. And after that, you can usually just tear out the bottom of that cup very carefully. And if you don't have pom-poms at home, cotton balls will work as well. So whatever you have lying around the house. So you tear out the bottom of your cup, and then you grab whatever you want to decorate with, markers, you can make fireworks on your cannon, whatever you really want to use on there. You just add a little decoration. There we go. And of course, if you were traveling with Lewis and Clark, you would fire off your cannons on the 4th of July. The captains also tell us there was singing and dancing. They had their fiddle with them, so they were playing music. And it was just really a good time. It was a good time to celebrate that birth of the nation, because it just happened 28 years ago when Lewis and Clark were traveling up the river. So you decorate your cup with whatever you want to decorate. Then you're going to grab your balloon, and at the widest part of your balloon, right in the middle, that widest part, you're just going to cut right down the middle. You're going to very carefully cut. There we go. And then you're going to knot the little tube part at the end. Just give it a little knot. There we go. And then you open up where you cut the balloon, and that's going to fit right at the bottom of your keelboat cannon. There we go. It'll be a little snug. Now if you want to, you can secure that balloon with some clear tape. And that'll just kind of help it stay on a little bit better. And of course, the Declaration of Independence, when we broke up with Britain during the American Revolution, there's a famous line that you probably have heard before, and it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when we talk about the Declaration of Independence, that's a famous line from that document. So have you ever heard that line before? That's the Declaration. All right, so our balloon is secured to our cannon, so that's going to kind of give it the little pom-poms, our cannons, a little momentum to shoot forward. So you decorate, you attach the balloon, and you're good to go. All you have to do is grab some pom-poms. They're going to go at the very bottom of your cup, and then you just pull back and you fire. Now, I wouldn't do anything too hard in your cannon. You don't want to hurt anybody, but that's all there is to it. So go out, make some keelboat cannons, celebrate like the captains do, play some music, dancing, they told jokes, they fired off their cannon, And if you're looking for any picnic ideas, something that the captains had for their celebration, for their 4th of July celebration, they wrote that they had a very nice dinner of bacon, beans, dumplings, and buffalo beef. That's one of their 4th of July celebrations. So if you're looking for ideas, go ahead, try that out. After, in the comments below, if you have questions or you want to share pictures, go right ahead. Worksheets will be in the comments as well, and we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, guys.